Hello, 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 Sector. I hope everybody is doing as great as I am this evening. Shout out to all of y'all for coming in and checking out the show. Just a quick pop up video that I'm going to do and just kind of go over yesterday and a lot of the highlights from yesterday's shows. There was a lots and lots of heavy hitters that came out yesterday. Hey, Dr. Nikki, shout out to you. Lots of heavy hitters came out yesterday and had different live streams, different videos, just kind of, just kind of poking along with the fun and the atmosphere of yesterday. I thought it was great. We had a great time. Shout out to Propane. He did a really funny live stream last night where he was kind of silent and T was kind of giving answers and saying, the Godfather is not speaking. So that was funny. Also, Shakem had a fire live stream yesterday as well. For anybody who missed it, I think I'm going to put a link to it in this description box because Keeping It Plain actually mentioned some information on there that I'm going to get into a little bit tonight in this live stream as well. But I don't want you guys to miss it because there was a lot of information that he gave, and there's some information that he's going to be going over. He said into 2023. So, yeah, I just wanted to get you guys over to Shakem's channel so you guys can see that and listen to it. But yeah, I really wanted to go over the conversation that I had last night with Stargate on Tiff P's channel. So for those of you that missed that, I am going to get into it a little bit and talk about that and just try to get, a little bit more of clarity with some of the questions that I was not able to answer because there was a couple of questions in the audience that I actually listened to, and I wanted to get to the bottom of those answers. And unfortunately, with Stargate, as you guys were able to witness last night, a lot of times you are not able to get even a word in with her without her stopping you, without her controlling the conversation and controlling the narrative. And so on my channel, you're just not able to do that. I can speak and I can freely open up and talk about this, and nobody can cut me off. So I'm going to do that today. And it was just a couple of points that were brought up that I wanted to clear up and I wanted to discuss. But hey, Eyes, I appreciate you. You said, why did Star try to dampen the Godmother celebration for Tiff P on Tiff's channel? I thought so too. I felt like it was really just disgusting how she carried that, and how last night was literally a prime example of what the sector deals with when it comes to Stargate. Okay. A lot of the men in the past have not been able to see this kind of behavior. They just kind of coddle to her and cater to her and, oh, poor thing, because she has this way of, trying to manipulate people into believing that she's some type of victim. And, you will really believe that until you listen to her long enough, or until you, kind of watch, her behavior long enough. Once you observe long enough, you realize, like, okay, she is manipulating this, and that she doesn't really want any resolve. She just wants to argue. She just wants to debate and fight and fuss. And, even if you tell her, if you acknowledge, and like she said, she keeps claiming she wants people to be held accountable, right? Which I really still to this moment don't really know what accountability anyone else here in this sector can hold someone to. You can choose not to fuck with somebody and not to come around them and not be, come and listen to their content. But, is that really quote unquote, holding someone accountable? Like, what are we supposed to do with these people once we hold them accountable? Because holding someone accountable, like in the real world, would require, them to have committed some type of crime, or them to have, done something where you can contact law enforcement, or you can have them put in some type of court or something like that to, to be held accountable per se. But what can we really do to hold people accountable in this sector? Is there really anything that any of us, any jail, any prison, any court, that we can put these people in, once we are holding these people accountable, then what? What's next after that? Okay. Hey, Samba, I appreciate you. And I appreciate you last night and your patience with that situation. I often wonder, because I see therapists too, or I see a therapist as well. And I often wonder times how therapists have the patience with people to deal with certain situations. And I can feel your patience running thin last night. Um, and I think you experienced last night what a lot of us have experienced in this sector with Stargate. Okay. Where, and even I myself, I was in that position at one time where I was trying to get to an understanding of where she's coming from, why she's still so hurt. And this was months ago. This was a couple, probably like a year or two ago. Okay. And I was trying to get to an understanding of why she was ranting and raving every time I turned on her channel, every time I tuned into them. Um, yeah, Rev G, I don't even know why you're in here. Can somebody block him? Dr. Nikki, can you block him? I have no idea why he's even in this building. You don't have any space here. And I'm not really sure why you are here, Rev G. We're not talking to you. You're welcome to listen if you want to, but you're not welcome to speak in here. And that's just that. You cause a lot of issues. You're always causing problems. You're welcome to go over to your channel and talk all the shit you want. I'm not tuning in. But for someone who's not interested and in my channel, and someone who cannot stand me and doesn't like what I'm saying, and get the fuck up out of here. Like, there you go. That was easy. We're not discussing anything with you tonight. And that's just that. So anyway, yeah. But as I was saying, guys, I think I blocked him. Okay, I just blocked him. So it's fine. Yeah, you don't come over here, Rep J. Okay, if you want to watch, from the clouds, that's on you. But you don't have the capacity to speak in my space. That's just that, and I don't have to be forced. Anyway, that's a boundary I'm putting up. Anyway, yeah. So the conversation was, you done threw me off now. But either way, the conversation was crazy, and it was crazy because it was just one-sided. Stargate is so used to controlling the narrative in every conversation. She's so used to controlling the conversation, not getting any word in edgewise and so forth, even if you're talking to somebody else. So there's people on the outside looking in, like people like I Am Human First, people like maybe Miss Murph, people like Quiet Storm, and people like that who have not been around and witnessed this kind of stuff, that question the women in the sector. They question whether or not we've actually really have been a bully towards her. And so I know what I was talking about, whether we've actually been a bully towards her and so forth. And so African Lemonade or Samba, I can see how you had the position you did when you first got on the panel. Because when you first got on the panel, you were, trying to come from a place of love. You were trying to understand where she's coming from and understand where she's at and why she's gotten there. And she got smart with you from the rip, from the beginning. Like, she couldn't even help herself, because that is what she does. She does this all the time, like literally all the time. You said most folks in therapy want to be helped. That's the difference. Yes, that is true. But she does that all the time. So all of us have kind of had that same approach with her, at least from what I've seen. And I know for myself, I particularly did that before I even, did fall out with her. I was trying to get to an understanding of why she was so hurt by the ladies. Okay. And then once she was giving me these explanations on why she was so hurt by the ladies, then I would say something to her like, well, why are you allowing this to bother you to this level? Or why are you allowing this to interfere with your everyday life? I don't understand that. And her answer would always be, well, what I can do what I want to do, and you're just trying to control me, and why aren't you going and saying those things to them? And I'm like, well, I'm talking to you in this instance. You know what I mean? So the same, it was almost like a mirrored conversation with what you were having with her last night that we have had with her on multiple occasions over the past couple of years. You see what I'm saying? So if it sounds like, one of us are being, just kind of standoffish with her, if it sounds like, we're just kind of beating around the mulberry bush with answers per se and stuff like that to her questions, it's literally because niggas is tired of answering the same question with her over and over again. As you guys can see, last night, I literally apologized to her 4 times for the same exact thing. And it was because the first time I apologized, it wasn't enough. The second time I apologized, it wasn't enough. The third time I apologized, it wasn't enough. The fourth time I apologized, it still wasn't enough. She cannot get enough of people groveling at her and begging her to please, please, please forgive me. Please, oh, Star. Oh, like, I'm not doing that with her. I don't give a fuck. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and if that makes me a terrible person, that I don't give a fuck about groveling at the next woman, then so be it. I can admit if I'm actually wrong about something. So, in the situation where she was claiming that it so and so, quote unquote, hurt her, that I called her a bird, right? Which, by the way, I played that out because I wanted you guys to see. I had already told her in the past, if that hurts you, I apologize. Okay. And I had already gotten rejected from that in the past from her. So I wanted that to play out in front of you guys so you guys can see for yourself. As soon as you apologize to her, the apology is never enough. Okay? She will find 10 more questions on top of that one question to keep asking you the same questions over and over and over again to find something else for you to apologize about. And then when you apologize for that, then there's something else that's and then once she's through with you apologizing for everything, then she wants to turn around and have you apologize for everything everyone else did to her that you're cool with. Do you understand? Or at least in her mind, everything that everyone did to her. You see what I'm saying? So I really was kind of glad that it played out as long as it did, and it played out the way that it did, so that everybody can see for themselves and we can move on as a sector. You see what I'm saying? Because you made a great point, Samba, when you said if everybody can just move on, right? Then, you can kind of leave people on an island by themselves. Like, we all kind of know the content creators in the sector who lie. We know they lying. We know they about to dox somebody. We know they about to make up some fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? You leave those people on that island by themselves. Let their supporters come in and support whatever they want and say whatever they want to say, right? You just leave them where they are. But when you've got content creators like Tiff P and like myself or DJ Drama or other channels where the entire sector frequents, the entire sector comes around. You see what I'm saying? This is a problem when those content creators will purposely bring up such a thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or will allow Stargate to come on that panel and purposely rehash the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Like, at what point do we finally get to say, you know what? We're not going to keep talking about this. At what point do the content creators take a stand and say, okay, we're not going to keep rehashing this? Because clearly you don't want any resolve with the ladies. You don't want to resolve anything with the women. You just want to argue. You just want to fight. You just want to go back and forth, and you just want to debate. And you want to do this to get everybody garnering feelings and emotions, and shit never goes anywhere. It literally never goes anywhere. So hopefully going forward, everybody in this sector understands that. Nobody is going around looking for Stargate, picking at her and picking on her. This is in her head. Okay? There is nobody making videos and content in regards to her. This is in her head. Okay? And nobody is going to run around tiptoeing around this sector afraid of what they have to say or what they might say based off of her feelings. That's just not going to happen either. Okay? At the end of the day, and this is going to lead me into YM's point, because what she was trying to bring up in the chat room was a point about Stargate feeling abandoned by the women, right? And how Stargate at some point, she, the reason why this is all playing out is because she feels abandoned by the ladies. And, well, at the end of the day, it is up to Stargate to create those boundaries for herself. Yes, Rev G is a stalker, Joe. I don't even know why he's over here. Like, you claim you can't stand me, you can't stand anybody in this chat, but you coming over here breaking your neck just to come in here to say something. Like, hey, Money to Burn, I appreciate you. I'm going to bring that up in just a second too. The conversation with you yesterday, I really wanted to touch on that too. Yeah, so YM was saying that, the women have, or Stargate feels abandoned by the women, and this is why she's feeling the way she is. And I want to say something to YM, because I was trying to say this last night, but Stargate kept cutting me off. So here's the deal, okay? And this is not just for YM. This is for everybody. This is for me. This is for everybody in the sector. It is your responsibility to set boundaries for yourself in these YouTube streets. It is not up to everybody else to buffer your boundaries for you. It is not up to everybody else to buffer the road for you and make everything comfortable and peaceful for you. You understand? That's not my job. Just like it's not your job, YM, to make everything comfortable and peaceful for me, or make everything comfortable and peaceful for Carrie Ann. These are a couple of people that you've disagreed with in this sector. Or it's not your job to make things comfortable and peaceful for Photon. If he disagrees with you, he just disagrees with you, right? If I disagree with you, I just disagree with you, right? You don't have any responsibility to me to buffer my feelings and to buffer my emotions. Do you understand? It's the same thing with Stargate. She does not get a difference in treatment. Someone is not going to treat her special in a sense. Okay. Now, I do think that there is some cognitive issues with Stargate. I have to admit that. But Stargate puts herself out here in these situations. Okay. Now, I do believe that people can and do try to exercise some caution with her and not going in on her as much as you really could because of these cognitive issues that she has allegedly. Okay. But at the same time, if she's putting herself out here on these YouTube streets in situations where she's roasting and going back and forth and creating narratives along with Binary and putting out information along with him and talking shit and all this other stuff, right? If that's the case, then she is subject to anything that comes her way because of it. And that's just that. And it's not anybody's responsibility to buffer her with that. It's not anybody's responsibility to put up paddings and make sure that she's comfortable. It isn't. So if she feels such and such a way, right, this is her responsibility to put those boundaries up, and it's her responsibility to do something about that. It's not my responsibility to coddle her and to make her feel better about every single thing that everybody has said or done that hurts her. Just like it's not anybody's responsibility to do that for me. And so I think that was what I was trying to say last night to you, YM. Because, at the end of the day, all of us have a obligation to ourselves to set those boundaries for ourselves. So that's where I'm at with that. Let me get over to because I'm not going to be long on here, but there was something else that was said that I wanted to get to. um, you said, yeah, you said most folks in therapy want to be helped, and that's the difference. And I think that's true. I think part of this problem with Star is she doesn't want help. You know, she just wants to be stuck in this whole fight and argument with the women and forever be a victim. And I don't have to entertain that. You understand what I'm saying? I can care less. And this is something I want to say. Some content creators, they entertain everybody. Okay. They let trolls come in their chat and say what they want and create narratives, and faceless people who we've never heard or seen. We don't know whether they're male, female, white, black. We don't know anything, right? And they can just kind of say whatever they want and create these narratives. And these faceless people, voiceless people, think that somehow we are supposed to answer to them. Okay. I don't care about the Jakey qualities of the sector. I don't care about the Scarlets of the sector. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care about the quiet storms of the sector. Okay. You guys are welcome to have any opinion and any feelings you choose to have about any of the ladies. We don't owe y'all an explanation about those things. We just don't. We don't have to answer to the sector about these things. If we choose to have a conversation around the sector, or if we choose to have a conversation with someone in the sector publicly, that is our choice. But we don't owe you a damn thing. So it really doesn't matter what your opinion is. Most of you I have recently blocked. I got that from Keeper. Shout out to Keeper, because she had a show where they were talking about blocking people, right? And I was saying, I don't really got anybody blocked. And then I started blocking y'all because my peace of mind is more important to me. It's not necessary for me to be in a chat room where I am enjoying a show and all I see up and down that timeline is trolls in that chat room trying to get my attention. So instead of that, I just block you. I don't care what you're saying. I don't care what you don't like. I don't care what you don't like about me. I don't care what you think about me. You just think that. Yeah, you do. Life is still going on. Life is still moving on. I'm still doing me. And guess what? People are still fucking with me, whether you like it or not. So, yeah, I wanted to address that too, because there tends to be this idea in this sector, from trolls particularly, that they are important and what they have to say matters. And it just doesn't. It may matter to others, but it doesn't matter to me. And I don't have to be forced to accept, whatever it is that you're saying. So I did want to say that. And then there was something else I saw. You said, I saw last night how she prompts her position as a victim and keeps narratives going. She wants no resolution. I understand her stance, but I don't agree with it. Yeah, and I don't particularly understand it, her stance, because that's exactly what happens. And that's exactly what's been happening with all of the women for over almost 2 years, about almost 3 years. She becomes the victim. She will start having a conversation with you. You start talking, and then she cuts you off, or her or binary will cut off the conversation, and then they will finish the conversation for you. They'll tell you what you're feeling, tell you what you want, tell you what you need, tell you what you expect. And it's like, okay, well, that's not what I'm saying. And then when you're trying to tell them what you really feel, no, they cut it off and they finish it. And then they run with whatever narrative they created. And that's just the end of it. So all these narratives about all of these women have been created in her damn head. And nobody has time to keep combing through all that stuff to try to get her to see the truth and get her to see the reality of it. So you know what? Leave her where she's at. I'm going to leave her where she's at. I don't have time to keep doing that with her. But I'm glad that the sector was able to see that for themselves. Those who really truly question it, not those who just don't like me, or just don't like Nikki, or just don't like brown sugar, or just don't like money to burn, or just don't like Keeper, and now you want to talk shit and you want to use this as a reason to talk shit. That's on you. We can tell the difference. But for those of you who really want to know and really want to see for yourselves, you got to see for yourself. It doesn't take rocket science to see that literally I couldn't finish a conversation. I couldn't finish one sentence. Every time I tried to finish a sentence, this girl would cut me off. And even if I was able to finish the sentence, she wasn't listening. She was only quiet enough just to respond. And that's it. And the responses were off because she didn't even hear my answer. She didn't hear anything I said, you know? So, and that's just a pattern with her. And we're tired. We're absolutely tired. But yeah, she's not special. I've definitely roasted her and talked about her, but I've got a plethora of videos of people who I've said and I've mentioned in videos, I've talked about, I've given advice, I've said things. I even did that with Dr. Nikki. That's how Nikki and I have that respect for each other, because we can openly talk to one another. We can say things to each other without being angry, and 2 years later we're still mad. You know, I said something about beautiful Bernice. Same thing. We're still cool with each other. Something about let me see your transcript. Even though her and I had a fallout, I really do like her, you know. And I actually want to talk to her. I told her last night I plan on apologizing to her because there was some things we disagreed with that now I see the light on some stuff, and I owe her an apology for those things. You know, and then there's other people I've said things about in the sector too. So, you know, Shakim, all kinds of people. So I'm not sure why she thinks I'm the only one who, she's the only one who I've ever had anything to say something to, because that's not the case. But there was another comment in here too. I'm looking for. You said, hey, hey, Money to Burn. You said hello. Oh, that's what I wanted to address. So I was really, really, really bothered when during LV's show, and shout out to LV. That was a great show he had last night. But I was really, really bothered when Money got on the panel and she said, you know, hey, I'm not really feeling too well, but you know, I just want to get to the bottom of this. And I can feel the pain in your voice, you know. I can feel that. And it hurt me. It really did, because I can feel the sadism from Binary. I can feel that. I knew he liked it. It was fueling him to hear the hurt. It was fueling him. And that's why I stepped in. I was like, sis, no, we're not doing this. Like, I'll step in and I'll take that buffer for you. You ain't got to go through that. You know what I'm saying? But no, we're not doing this. This is what they want. They want us all fighting and fussing and arguing. And I don't even know if Stargate necessarily wants it. I think she just can't see past the spell. I think she can't see what Binary does. Like, he really literally manipulates her. And he was doing this all last night. Literally in front of the entire sector. He spent the entire night manipulating her and then trying to manipulate the sector too. He thought he was going to get over on us too. He thought he was going to pull the wool over our eyes, but no, honey, that wasn't the case. Wasn't the case at all. But okay, Money, you said catch y'all later. Okay, sis. I hope you're getting rest too. And hey, Gloria, and I appreciate you being in the building as well. Defrauding, I appreciate you coming in the building. I had to stand up for even you last night, you know, because I remember witnessing the conversation between you and Star on Binary's channel. I remember seeing how it was exactly like last night's conversation with her. How when you try to get one word in edgewise, she will cut you off, stop you, and finish your conversation. And then if you're not saying and giving her the answer that she wants you to give, if you're not saying it exactly the way she wants you to say it, then she will create the narrative for you and finish the narrative for you and then push that as if that's fact. to everyone. I watched her do that with you. I watched her do that with Bombay. It's funny because she asked me last night, right? Last night, and I had to think about it because I don't know. I don't keep notes on them. I don't keep a tally of everything that her and Binary have ever done. You know what I'm saying? So I'd have to think about anything that they've ever done. She asked me to mention something that they did in unison, right? Now, I remember the Asian hate thing, but I can't remember quite if she was actually present for that or not. And it really doesn't matter because she's still part of Code Fam, right? But the one thing that I can remember that the two of them created as a narrative that we all know is a lie, right? Is that Bombay and JJ are the same person. They both mentioned that after everybody was talking about Binary, because Binary was out here telling everybody he's a fucking predator. This is not allegedly or anything. He was telling everybody he's a fucking predator. Okay. So everybody's talking about that. They wanted to thwart that conversation and push this narrative on everyone else and make it like this is everyone else's fault. And so they turned around and created a narrative that Bombay and JJ are the same person. When that was debunked, by both of these men, Stargate continued to push that narrative. She's still to this day pushing that narrative. Okay, so that is a prime example of something that and Binary have made up in the sector. This is something that and it's been destructive towards the sector, something that's been hateful towards someone, all because of Binary's bullshit. So that's a prime example right there. Like, she said she was looking for me to give her examples of stuff. So, but it's irrelevant, really, whether, I can give them examples of things that they've gotten started or not. The bottom line is you're not manipulating the sector to believe what our lying eyes have already seen. You understand what I'm saying? Or what our lying ears have already heard. Like, this is just what it is. Whether you're mad at us or not. You said that I'm faceless. But I've actually heard your voice before. I've heard you have conversations. So you're not necessarily that. Hey, Stephanie Collins, I appreciate you being in the building. It's funny because she mentioned you even last night and tried to, because we were talking about her anti-Black conversation, how she's constantly bringing up, and shout out to YM, because YM said, and YM vouched for that, and said that, yeah, she has often said a lot of anti-Black statements multiple times on multiple occasions. People have her recorded doing it. She does it so often and she's so comfortable doing it, she don't even realize it. And then when you bring it to her attention, she doubles down on it. Like, I said to Binary last night, because I know he was doing it to be racially, with racial undertones, as he always does. I said, I don't appreciate you saying that tap dancing thing. I don't tap dance for anyone. That is definitely a racial undertone. I can care less what, he tries to make it seem like. And she just doubled down on that racial undertone and kept repeating it over and over just for his accolades, not even realizing that this is a disrespect to you, as a woman, as a Black woman. But okay, that you want to tap into that, you want to do that shit, that's on you. But she tried to make it like it's Stephanie doing this stuff. Stephanie I have never, ever one time, she would not be a moderator in my chat. She would not be a member of my channel. I would gladly send her that money back. If she was making racial undertones around here. Not one time have I ever seen Stephanie Collins do that. Not one time. Not one time. So shout out to you. And I wanted to make sure that was cleared up and that I said that. Hey, Black Butterfly 63, you said Stargate just wants to be right all the time. And she does. It's a damn shame. She can never just take responsibility for her own actions. It's crazy. A beautiful Bernice says, hey to Steph. And Steph says, hey to you as well. And you said exactly, Black Butterfly. And hey to Gloria. You said, imagine being oppressed by someone's thoughts who doesn't impact your outcomes. Exactly. Like everybody, as women, we want to have these, this empathic feeling towards people. We always want to get to the bottom of a problem and see, if there really is something especially if you can hear the hurt in their voice, right? But what y'all don't understand, and I hope y'all got it now, is that she uses that to manipulate people. She literally will say and pretend like she's this victim just to get everybody riled up on her side. And then once you're on her side and the other person is there, it's like, okay, well, like I said to her, well, where am I attacking you? How am I attacking you? Her only answer to that is something I said 8 months ago on Keeper's panel. That's her only answer to this. So you're still upset with me over something I said 8 months ago? Like, I don't even really remember everything I said 8 months ago. I'd have to go back and listen to the show to even know what I said. And then once I hear the show and listen to what I said, then I want to get the context of why I might have said it. You know what I mean? Or I want to get the context of what happened prior to that. And that is tiresome. That is taxing. Nobody has time for that. You can just move on, especially if that person, like Dr. Nikki is saying, does not impact the outcome of your life. It really doesn't matter what they said. You see what I'm saying? I don't know why she can't let those things go. And that's not my job to find out why she can't let those things go. You said she wants you to answer questions exactly the way she desires, with the wording she believes is best. Exactly. Like if I say something, and I'm giving you the answer that I know, if it's not coming out the way you think it should come out, then she'll cut the conversation off and finish the conversation for me. And that is why she has all of these ideas about everybody in the sector, because that is what she does with everybody in the sector. And it's just crazy. Hey, Keeper, I appreciate you being in the building as well. Shout out to you. You said, and don't like Joe, right? You said, hey, Keeper. You said, hey to Keeper. You said, good Sunday, Dr. Nikki and Joe. You said, both my husband and Keeper 116s were topics of discussion as attempts to malign us. Exactly. Like, it's just, but this is what she does. She will literally do that. This is what has happened with every single person in this sector. If we bring up something that, okay, I'm going to give y'all another example, like with the smoke gang, with the smoke situation, right? With the text messages. Nobody asked Stargate for that information. Nobody said, Stargate, let me see them text messages between you and Smoke. She released that information to the sector, okay? And in her releasing that information to the sector had questions, okay? The sector went about asking her all types of questions in regards to those text messages because she released those text messages to the sector, all right? People came up with their own conclusions based off of the timestamps of the text, based off of the dates, based off of the nature of the conversations, based off of how long the conversations continued. Okay, this was her doing in releasing that information to the sector. So when you release information, right, like any of us content creators, myself included, whatever information that I release publicly, I have to be willing to allow people to ask questions about it. I have to be willing to say, you know what, hey, I opened it up to the public. If you want to ask questions, I can't get mad at you for asking questions. I can choose not to answer the question if I don't want to, but I can't get mad at you for asking those questions. She's mad at the sector for questioning what was in those text messages and questioning the times of those text messages. And from that has stemmed a whole bunch of nonsense on what every other woman in the sector may or may not have done. So if any woman has had any conversation with any man in the sector, now she needs to be held to the same fire that Stargate was held to because of her text messages to Smoke. Keep in mind, none of us are releasing information to the public about conversations we're having with men or conversations we're having with anyone. It is her that did that. So you can only hold her responsible for something she has done. I cannot hold her responsible, or I cannot hold myself responsible for something that someone else is doing. And I can't hold myself responsible for something I don't know about someone else. I can only look at and make a decision off of what is presented to me. So if you don't want me to come up with any kind of idea about something regarding a situation, then don't present it to me. Like, how easy is that? How hard is that? This is what we've been trying to tell her for over a year. It's ridiculous. Everybody else does not have to be on the chopping block with you because you put yourself on the chopping block. We just don't. Okay. And it's not everybody's job to run around holding everybody to these standards and to these fires. We're not even holding you to those fires. You're the one that put that out there. And then when you ask about it and somebody answers you and tells you what their honest opinion is, you can't then get mad and turn around and be upset with them because they gave you their opinion. But you asked for their opinion. Like, that's just that. That's kind of the same thing that we did when we talked on my channel. When I brought Stargate on my channel to talk about those situations, I asked her some very tough questions. And I wanted to know the answers, you know? She gave me the answer the best way that she could, and that was it. I didn't keep going on and on and on. She went on and on and on and on and on about this. She went on a campaign through the sector to do this. She went into other sectors on a campaign with this. Like, this is not everybody else's fault. And then when people come to their own conclusions about it, that is their choice because you put that information out to the public. So again, what happened with Nikki was not a situation that Nikki put out to the public. That was something that Remix decided to put out, okay? And he did it out of context. He did it without the true context of the conversation and everything else. So people are not going to hold her to the same standard as you because it's not the same situation. It literally is just not. And you can't stand the fact that we don't do that. Another thing that happened in this situation is with Carrie Ann, okay? Yes, I don't necessarily agree with Carrie Ann and a lot of things that she does, okay? But I don't disagree with some things she said and done either. And in this situation, there was one time where Carrie was having a panel. You hopped on her panel and you tried to thwart the conversation into something that she wasn't talking about. She tried to tell you that kindly. This is not what she's talking about. You still wanted to bring it back to whatever you wanted the conversation to be. You wanted to control her panel. And she would not allow you to control her panel. And she kicked you off the panel. And she had a whole lot of choice words for you. Okay? That was her choice. Because the women in the sector did not condemn her for that. Because the women in the sector did not jump down her throat and yell at her for kicking you off her panel and saying that you are not intellectually intelligent enough to have this conversation. You have now turned on everybody for not jumping on this down this woman's throat. When her and Dee Durrell got into it over the 4C hair, no women got involved in their arguments until that was talked about. When the women tried to jump up and say something regarding the 4C hair, you jumped up and made the conversation once again about you and her, your beef with her. You don't like what she said to you. You don't like how she treated you in that moment in her on her panel. And we were trying to tell you, like, this isn't about you and her right now. This is about 4C hair. And instead of you seeing it that way, you took it as the women are jumping down your throat. And that was not the case. But nobody's going to keep explaining that to you. Nobody's going to keep jumping on panel to panel to panel, screaming and hollering and having screaming matches for these miserable niggas in this sector. We're not going to do that. And that's not a shot at all the men. That is just for the miserable niggas. And they know who they are, and we know who they are too. We can tell the ones who just want us to get on these panels with you and have screaming matches with you, just for views on their show. We can tell the ones who just want us to get up and jump up and down and yell and call each other black bitches and call each other a bunch of black this and black that. We can tell the difference. We need you to start telling the difference. We need you to start paying attention to that. But you are not going to get from the women the satisfaction of us continuing to argue with you about pointless shit. We can't control how you decide to react to something. We cannot control how you decide to allow something to affect you. It is not our job to do that, and it is damn sure not our job to buffer your feelings on these YouTube streets. It is your job to create those boundaries for yourself. And if we create those boundaries between us and you, then respect those boundaries. Stop trying to penetrate those boundaries anyway. And for the content creators, again, shout out to Samba because you made a lot of sense. If you, as a content creator, will continue to allow this woman to come on your panel, to thwart your show, and to create these narratives over and over again that she does not want to get to the bottom of, then hey, go ahead and get on that island with these other weird ass content creators who want to make up shit, who want to keep these narratives up, who want to argue, who want to fuss, who want to fight, who want to dox people, who want to do all. Go get on that island with them. Because I promise you, none of us, no real people who really carry this sector are going to care. We're not going to care, and we're not going to continue to entertain it. We're just not. You said, I'm just trying to stay out of jail. I would need you to represent me, but I don't think I can afford your prices. Right. You said, Dr. Nikki, Joe, Buddy Burn, Glow, Steph, Defrauding, the beautiful Bernice, Eyes, and Samba. Hey, Dr. Bombay. I appreciate you being in the building. We haven't seen you in a while. Shout out to you for being in. Everybody saying hi to you. You said, Keeper, kudos to you, lady. You stayed much cooler than I. Yes, she did. And it's really difficult to do that up there on that while on a panel with her. It is so difficult to stay calm. And then her and Binary will do stuff like, see, look what these black bitches do. Look what these black bitches, look what they do. It's like, you know that you're pulling me into an argument with you, though. You know what I mean? And then when I get into the argument, it's like, look at the black women. Look at how the black women act. That's what they do. It's crazy. You said, I really enjoyed LV's show. Kudos to him. Yeah, that was very creative, and I really liked how he did that. Everybody saying hey to Bombay. You said, just ready yourself for Thanksgiving in Miami, honey. Glow. Yes, yes, yes. Everybody, I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving this week. You said they proceeded to jump on Money to Burn and don't even know how depraved it is. And they don't care either. That's the sad part about it. They don't even care, but I wasn't going to let that happen. You said everyone who says hello to Dr. Bombay is on the shit list. You said, by the way, hello, TMK. You said, African Lemonade, my reflection. How are you, soul twin? You said, what was said about me? What I do? I said that, so I had brought you up because I said that Stargate has spent a great deal of time in this sector blaming everybody for mistreating her. I said, when in all actuality, it's just her trying to, like when you try to get to the bottom of why you have done something or said something to her a certain way, she will cut you off and create a narrative and finish your conversation for you. And I watched her do that with so many people, including you. I watched her on Binary's show. When you did fall out with her, I watched her do the very same thing she did last night, which was cut everybody off and cut me off and finish my sentences and tell me how I felt. And even if I did get an opportunity to tell her how I felt, she said, no, that's not enough. You feel what I'm saying you feel. And that's it. And she did that with you too. And I told her that. I told her you did that with her, with you. I told her she did that with Bombay. I said, so it's not just the women of the sector, it's men in the sector too. And she went off on that and then tried to tell me, well, this is what really happened. So why are you lying about what happened? I'm like, I'm not lying. This is my opinion because this is what I've seen. Like, this is what I've seen you do. So I'm not lying on you, but that's my opinion. And that wasn't enough either. No, I was lying. I had to be lying. I had to be making it up. Okay. All right. So clearly you don't want any resolve, ma'am. You just want to fight, argue, fuss. Hey, Karma 52, I appreciate you always coming in and supporting. Shout out to you. And Pixie Longjot, I appreciate you always coming in as well. Shout out to y'all. You said, ooh wee, that one with DC made me angry. Lawyer that dresses like a man. Girl, there was a lot of shit, man. A lot. You said, doing well, Dr. Bombay. Long time no see. How's it hanging? You said, facts, Stephanie Collins. You said, defrauding. I was thinking of the one where she talked on your service. Yep, she talked about that too. There's so much stuff. So many hateful things that she says. And then when you try to turn it and you show her, then she'll turn it around and make it like she's the victim and like she's only responding to something, or same bullshit Rev G and them do. They only responding to you and all this stuff. But then when you point out to them like, hey, what responses are you giving? Because I told her, I said, a lot of the women that you beef with aren't even content creators. They don't even make content. So, and you're not in the same space as they are in. So who's keeps throwing darts at you? What are they doing? Who keeps attacking you? Because like she said last night, trying to act like she was on the verge of tears over and over again. They keep doing this to me over and over and over and over and over again. And I was like, okay, well, where is that happening? And the only thing she could say is, it happens in the chat rooms. What are you talking about? You will be on a panel talking cash money shit about somebody on the panel. And then if they respond to you in the chat, that's what you're talking about? No, we're not playing those mental games. This is the stuff you do all the time. Nobody is coming for you. Nobody is picking at you. And I'm going to say this again. I made a video about this a while ago about the ladies of the sector. I'm going to say this again. There is no women's coalition behind the scenes that is coming up with any type of shit to come at anybody in this sector. Not any fucking body. And I know I can speak for every woman in this sector in saying that. There is not no single coalition anywhere that is against Stargate or against anybody in this sector or anywhere for that matter. I have never been in cahoots with any women to come for Stargate. Nobody has to do that. I feel the way I feel about Stargate because of Stargate. It has nothing to do with any other women, has nothing to do with any other body, because guess what? We can't be manipulated like that. Do you understand? We can actually disagree with one another. We don't agree on everything. And literally, nobody is manipulating anybody to do anything. We do not all follow a monolith and we all say, somebody says, don't talk to them. Everybody's going to do that. No. That's the bullshit AFWs used to do. That's the bullshit anti-Afro used to do. We don't do that shit. We don't have to. We can agree to disagree with each other. We can agree on everything sometimes. And other things we can disagree on. And it's okay. Okay, but there is no coalition out here that's coming against Stargate behind the scenes and all this other fuck shit. And at the end of the day, nobody is going to be intimidated into not speaking to one another because you got a fucking problem. Nobody's going to do that. Absolutely not. And I don't appreciate you even suggesting that the women should do such a thing. And that's just that. We don't have to do that because, you're not comfortable with women speaking to each other. Hello, you said Fade to Black TV. Hello, how are you? I appreciate you coming in the building. You said the ego finds its identity and value in its own pain narratives, and its online perception. That's facts. That's facts. I hope somebody blocked this. You said African Lemonade, aka Samba. What county in North Carolina are you near? You said it's called fully ado. It's a real thing. It's the madness of two when when two are conjoined in their delusions. Yeah. A lot of this, I'm telling you, man, and I hate to say it like this, but a lot of this shit is being fueled by him. A lot of this stuff is. He knows he's playing on her mental capacity, you know, and he knows that she has terrible communication skills. He knows that she will shut off and cut off whatever you're saying because in her mind she thinks you're just going to lie about whatever you're saying, so she's cutting it off, and he will finish the sentence for you or she will finish the sentence for you. And that's exactly why, she thinks everybody in the sector is against her. You said Mecklenburg. Okay. Oh, that's where the Briley brothers were at in the Mecklenburg Correction Center. You said low key, the sentiment seems to be so-called Black people are not bright enough to discern messy manipulation tactics and call it out. It's sad, tiresome, and immature. And that is 100% exactly what's going on. They always seem like even with binary, he'll do stuff like because Miss Murph, being new to the sector, she asked questions about it, like, well, what is really going on? Is it really, where all the women are really picking at her and stuff? And binary will play on her mind and play on these, these mental games and say stuff like, oh, Miss Murph, I appreciate you for being, open-minded and these degenerates don't understand, but you understand, Miss Murph, because you are he does that kind of stuff until you really realize that he's playing these games. And then when you mention it, oh, he's going to treat you like the rest of us. You know what I mean? He's going to start calling you a bunch of Black bitches and a bunch of Black this and that. And he's going to use Stargate to come for you. He's been doing it for a couple years. This is how we all know. So people, like I said, like Miss Murph and like Quiet Storm, they don't know that because they ain't been around here long enough and they haven't experienced it. Y'all have only been over there. So, that's just what it is. And you have that right. You're entitled to your own opinion, but don't expect us to answer stupid questions, okay? Because we already know what it is. Like, if you don't know what it is, that's fine, but we do. And we're not going to sit around and be subjected to stupidness and silliness. We're just not. You said Queen City. You said, yep, Queen City. We're all mourning the loss of Shanquella Robinson. Yeah, that is really, really sad. I'm probably going to do a little bit of a conversation on that sometime this week because I've been looking into that. But yeah, that is a very, very sad situation that happened over there with Shanquella. Rest in peace to her. You said 3 hours from me, Samba. You said never. I never heard Stephanie Collins make any type of racial comments. Never. Not one fucking time. You said she wants her hurt to be felt and heard, but she says everyone else's pain is hypocrisy. Exactly. Like, she's not hypocritical with nothing, but everybody else is just hypocritical, and that's just that. He says Stephanie Collins, when she spoke on my service, I disregarded it. She would never know what it takes to be Black in uniform and ride up the ranks. It is what it is. Exactly. And sometimes you got to do that with Star. You got to just kind of leave her where she's at, You said, who we going to believe, them or our lying eyes? Exactly. Like, stop it. And our lying ears, right? You said, let's all ask ourselves one question. Who would we be if we could never sign onto the internet for purposes of socializing again? That is a very, very good question. And I'll tell you, I often say that, yes, I do have people that I value here on these YouTube streets, but I also talk to them in real life too. You know what I'm saying? If I have a relationship with you simply on YouTube and it's simply a internet relationship, I treat it like that. You know what I mean? And I don't know how to have the same values with someone that I just know online as opposed to somebody that I'm actually close to in real life, So yeah, whoever you are online should be the same person you are in person. You know what I mean? It shouldn't switch up and change. You should be that same person because all this extraness online is not healthy. It really isn't. It's not healthy for you at all. And it's not healthy for the people. Probably it's not healthy for the people around you either. You said, Stephanie, her lying tongue, right? You said, what county are you near Bombay? You said, hey, the beautiful Bernice. You said, hey, RNT, I appreciate you being in the building. You said, African Lemonade, Samba Queen, Halifax. You said, bingo. Everybody's saying, hey to RNT. You said, we supposed to be popping. You said, preach. I'm passing around the collection plate away, $20 and above. Okay, okay. You said, oops, I meant around. You said, Dr. Bombay, like most of us, we would have the relationships we've developed. This, again, to most of us is a fun little hobby. Exactly. It is. And like I said, I refuse to get up here and argue these stupid little points. You know what I mean? Like, especially if I don't even remember the conversation. I have that right to forget about stuff and not care, hold things to such high regard that's irrelevant to me. I have that right to do that. You know what I mean? And to set boundaries for myself with that kind of stuff. She can't stand that women like to set boundaries for themselves. It's ridiculous. You said, I appreciate y'all saying so, although I know I still have ingrained and cultured supremacist assumptions, reflexes, etc. Okay, and that's good to know that. And that's one of the things I like about you too, is that you're very open about those kinds of things, and very open about privilege, and open about your family and conversations you've had. And that actually makes you such a valuable member of the sector. It really does. Makes you a very valuable member. You said, I don't get it if someone said something about your children. I don't need anyone to defend my children but me. I don't need to be mad at someone else for not defending my kids. Girl, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't even remember what was allegedly, supposedly said or not said about her kids and all this stuff. But here's the thing. It's true. Stargate does not have any little kids, okay? Stargate is like 46, 47 years old, okay? She's like 47. Her oldest child is like 26 or 27. And her youngest child is like 18 or 17 or 18, okay? They're not little tiny babies, and where, this is really affecting them and all this other stuff. And even so, some of the things that she's claiming that people allegedly said are opinions, okay? Like, for instance, yes, we all know that Binary had been running around this sector telling everyone about his predatory behavior, okay? So if somebody comes up with an opinion that Stargate is coddling a predator, and Stargate is the type that will allow a predator around her kids, that is an opinion. People are entitled to their opinion, especially if that opinion is based off of something they've seen, or something they've heard, or something they've watched you do. They have that. They are entitled to that opinion. And we don't have to be a monolith and say, you know what, because Stargate said it's not true, we're just going to believe it's not true. People have the right to feel what they want. And that is what has happened in this situation. A lot of people have come to their own conclusions based off of her behavior and how she is so quick to jump to the aid of Binary, even when he has specifically said these things about predatory behavior. And that's just that. So it's the gaslighting for me. It's the pretending that this isn't a reaction from an action from them, that gets to me. So again, you're right. It is not everybody else's responsibility to go run into the aid of her because of something somebody said about her daughters. If that's their opinion, that's their opinion. Who are we to tell somebody they don't have a right to their fucking opinion? You could have an opinion about me, just like people can have an opinion that I got put out of all my houses. People can have, just based off of what Mia Mines has said. People can have an opinion that my vehicles got repossessed based off of what Mia Mines has said. You understand what I'm saying? That is their opinion. That doesn't mean I'm going to fall apart because that's their fucking opinion. They have the right to their opinion. And I'm not going to run around here cleaning up everybody's opinion. Period. You believe what the fuck you want. It's not affecting me. You said, Stephanie Collins, you are the bomb, baby. Yes, she is. I really love her. You said, and she's in multiple spaces, multiple Black spaces at that. You said, same talking points. So long stories are twisted, distorted, and misconstrued, mixing people and situations up, exploitation, extrapolation at its best. Exactly. It's just ridiculous how, it's like you just compile conversations and you just go in and talk about this, and then you jump in on like she was talking about binary, and then she went from binary to Carrie, and then from Carrie to Nikki, and then from Nikki to something. And it's like, I finally just typed in the chat, like, what the hell is she talking about? Like, I don't know what she's talking. I don't even know what she's talking about. I can't follow you. I can't give you an answer to something because I don't know what you're talking about. And at this point, I'm checking out. I don't even care. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not affecting me. So I don't care. And then when I say I don't care, that's a crime. That's a sin. Like, oh my God, you just can't win with that girl. Can't win with that girl. You said, but Steph, we all have prejudices nonetheless. I appreciate what you just attested to. That kind of honesty makes me appreciate you more. Exactly. That's why I love her too, because she's honest about those things. And you can have a real conversation with her, a real conversation. And it's not everybody's going to walk away full from the conversation. You said, that's right, T. Pre. Everybody said 100 Black Butterfly. You said, God loves everyone. Okay. You said, exactly, Samba. You said, I don't. You said, the beautiful Bernice, African Lemonade. That's very kind. Y'all are welcome in Miami for the holidays. Oh, you said, thanks, Steph. You said, I just might take you up on that offer, Steph, especially because you like chicks. Right. You said, Stephanie, you are priceless and you have a wonderful sense of humor. She really is priceless. You said, African Lemonade, and sometimes they like me too. Hey, Secktah J, you said, is there really 38 people here? All I see are mods in the chat, SMH. Yes, there's multiple people here. There's been more than 38. And now you're here too, so shout out to you. And as we know, a lot of times people just go in a chat and they talk, or they just listen. That happens all the time. I'm pretty sure you know that since you do it all the time. So I'm not sure why you're surprised. You said, Dr. Nikki, not so fast. Good doctor. I got a price. You said, Stephanie, LOL. Hey, what you going to do about it? I appreciate you always coming in the building, waiting for you to go live again. I always love your shows, always there to support. And I always appreciate you coming in to support me too. Shout out to you. You said, peace to the chat. You said, Steph, I think I told you before, I'm on the alphabet train with you. Yep. Yeah. Our Samba is up there with you. You said, oh, I remember African Lemonade. You said, peace to Carmen 52 and what you going to do about it. You said, speaking of Rev, y'all see how he came in throwing rocks at Nikki during LV's show? That's ridiculous. Like they just got to be relevant somewhere. Did you see how he came in here? Just thinking he had the right to come and speak. Like you don't have that capacity here, especially since you hate everybody over here. Why are you here? Why come if you hate everybody here? You said, who was in there cracking jokes at him? You said, yes, that chick stuck in the Twilight Zone. Girl, it don't make no sense. You said, who threw the first stone? You said, my lives are open to the public on my little struggling page for all to see. Okay. And that's what I said. I wanted to, I'll put a link to that video you did 8 months ago. That was literally 8 months ago. And it's funny because that was a response video to her 8 months ago, a response video. Y'all just put out the actual evidence and the truth. Y'all put out the receipts, and she couldn't stand it that y'all put out the receipts and y'all put out the facts. And she has been on a campaign ever since trying to prove all of that shit wrong. And it's been 8 fucking months. Move the fuck on, bitch. Like, move on. Like, move on. Okay. Even if all of us really were doing you so wrong, who the fuck gonna do anything about it? Nobody gonna do a motherfucking thing about it. Your little friends and your little minions And the people that fuck with you are going to keep fucking with you. And the people that fuck with us are still going to fuck with us. You're not going to stop people from fucking with us. So again, what are you trying to accomplish? You know, it's just ridiculous. You said Rev acts real feminine the way he always tries to keep things going with women. Him and Binary. And there's a couple others, but it's particularly him and particularly Binary. They love to keep up the nonsense amongst the women. They love to do that shit. Love it. It's ridiculous. It's like they can't get enough of it. They want to be women so bad. You said salute, keeper, allegedly. You said, I see why Stargate don't have no man. No man wants to keep going around in circles. Facts. Nobody going to keep doing that. And nobody's going to keep begging her and groveling her. Oh, please, please forgive me. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's the same impression I get with Carrie Ann. She needs you to grovel at her and beg and beg and beg and please, please. Oh, I need to be worthy of your presence. Like, bitch, get the fuck out my face. If you don't fuck with what I'm saying, you just fucking don't, bitch. Like, period. So yes, nobody want to keep doing that. You said, I agree, Samba. You said, why was touch code all up in the convo? LV should have blocked that creep. Facts. Like, what? Why is he the only man in the sector hopping up in the conversation? And it was women that were talking. Vita was fine. Stargate was fine. They did not need his interjections. But he gets into everything because he likes to control everything. He likes to control the narrative. And if he can't control the narrative, he loses it. Literally. That's why he was in it, because he's a bitch. You said, I agree with what y'all what you're gonna do about it. You said, I just want to start to realize that Binary isn't helping her by stoking the flames of her trauma. He does it all the time, and she just cannot see it. She will be willing to stand up to that statement and say, you're lying. That's not true. He's not doing that. And then we'll come up with all kinds of stuff to try to manipulate you to believe that he's not doing that, even though you can see it with your own eyes and you can hear it with your own ears. Like, even though we all can see it, she will try her best to manipulate us that that's not true. You said they are into asymmetrical warfare. I talk about something that they said or something we disagree with, and they make videos about how your mama, your cat, and your dog are all just awful people. They do it all the time. Me and mine's the same way. If you disagree with anything that they say, and that's how me and her really got to falling out. It was the conversation that happened with before Breaking the Culture got that email from a certain man in the sector telling us that me and mine was talking shit. How it originally started was her and Corey was going through it with that whole situation. And I made a video about it, giving my opinion. I gave my opinion on Corey and I gave my opinion on her. She could not stand the fact that I gave an opinion about that. And she literally lost her motherfucking mind. Next thing you know, I'm this, I'm that, I'm all this shit, and I'm this, and I'm like, bitch. Like, I'm just saying, like, if somebody is doing something to hurt your kids, you call the cops. You either deal with that shit in the streets or you call the fucking police. You don't call CPS. Who does that? I mean, who does that? And I said that. She couldn't stand that I said that. That was her problem. So, yeah. Everybody's all these other things when you disagree with something with them. And that's exactly what the fuck has happened. That's exactly what happens with these two bitches. You said, I just want to know what woman is comfortable with her husband hanging out online with another woman at night. Girl, child, that's another question. But Smoke Wife don't be up here asking questions and doing different shit. It'd be Stargate trying to put that shit out there. You said no one in a healthy marriage would be accepting of their spouse talking to members of the opposite sex late at night for hours on end. Facts. And that's why eventually Binary had to get his ass off the internet last night, because his wife probably wasn't fucking having that shit. Get the fuck out of here. You said, Stephanie Collins, I'm rolling the fuck on the floor. You said, and it's so true, Stephanie. He said, I used to like Stargate. I don't get why she is mad at the women in the sector. This is not what black women do. And a lot of us used to like her. We all probably liked her at one point, you know? But exactly what she did last night is exactly what she has been doing for the past couple years with every single woman in this sector. Every single one. Everybody's wrong but her. She is never wrong about nothing she does and nothing she says. She can never take responsibility for anything. You said some of the same people who were really putting her down are now rallying on her behalf, making her think she's right and the women are jealous and the internet switch up game is real. Child. See, it's people like Karma 52 that's been around for a long ass time. She might not always come out. She might not always speak. She might be in the clouds, but she know exactly what the fuck is going on. You see what I'm saying? And she's seen some of these people switch up where they'll say one thing, and shout out to Sector Lost Tapes, where there's a lot of these videos that come to surface and remind niggas of things that they've said. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, where they were speaking facts at one time and being honest with her. And now because they don't like one woman or they don't like something a woman has said or whatever, and they have this assumption that all the women are in cahoots against people, they tell her this bullshit, you know, like all the women are jealous and yeah, they jealous and what are you talking about? These are childish high school stupid little things. Nobody's jealous of her. There's nothing to be jealous of. Real shit. It really isn't. But these are the things that they say, and these are the things that they keep up, and this is dangerous to her. It is. But they don't care. They just want the carnage. You said facts, Karma. You said Karma, absolutely. It's like the Twilight Zone. So true. You said no one here can offend your relatives, but because they don't know your relatives. To be honest, they don't know you either. You have never met broke bread, or even known the others' middle names, facts, or even last names or first names for that matter. You said facts, Bombay. You said Star's attacks on me began when I called out Touch Code for his admitted awful behavior. Get over it and move on. Facts. We all did that. You said stopping through. What's up, Slater Show and Marie? I appreciate y'all being in the building. And that's facts, Alan. You know, it's crazy. I don't know what it's going to take for them to move on from this. You said child Beyonce is getting tired of the nonsense that's going on her YouTube. Okay. You said exactly, T-Pre. And why is binary in women's business? Child, like he's not even, and that's the thing, he's not even like embarrassed by that. He really thinks it's normal for him to hop up in females' business. He tries to justify it, you know? But then again, there's no men that are telling him about himself either. You know, that's part of the problem too. There's really aren't any men that are hopping up there and telling him about himself. They're kind of leaving the women to do it, kind of leaving the women to say something about it. And so I guess it doesn't have much of an impact because he's not hearing it from other men, you know? So I don't know. Maybe at some point, you know, he'll hear this from other men and maybe they'll do something. Maybe he'll do something about that. But yeah, it's sad that he's not even close to embarrassed by that. He says Stephanie Collins is awesome. People really use her race and status to attack their ops. It's low-hanging fruit. Facts. You said exactly, TMK. There's no way this YouTube thing should hold this much weight. This is just triggering her trauma from the past. It really is. And even Darrell has told her she needs to disengage and get off the street, these YouTube streets. She don't hear nobody. She don't hear nobody. When you try to tell her, you know, hey, this is troublesome to you. This is a problem for you. She don't hear you. She really doesn't. She just thinks that she thinks that you're telling her to back down. She thinks that you're telling her she's lost. She doesn't understand this is not a win or lose type of thing. And that she, you know, this is not a fight. This is not a street fight. That she literally needs to just back off because it is traumatizing her. And it's traumatizing to watch her be traumatized. by something she doesn't have to be traumatized by. And she doesn't hear that. She just thinks you're telling her to back off, back down, you lost. That's how she thinks of it. It's like an ego thing. Um, you said the channels here exist to promote, perpetuate victimhood, persecution, and pain, all under the guise of trolling or entertainment. Facts. You said African, exactly. That's why I never got involved in others' beefs. I have my own mind and I follow it. Facts. Facts. He said, Joe, you feel me though. He said, yep, keeper. You said African lemonade, aka Samba. A lot of individuals here have underlying issues that are unresolved. And while this place provides some temporary relief, it is the worst place for healing. It really is. You said, I'll admit I have a bias against religious practitioners not owning being a hypocrite, not admitting to being down with the fuckery. Oh yeah, me too. I think we all have that bias towards that religious practitioner. He said, very true and well said, Dr. Bombay. You said we all float down here. Mm-hmm. You said 100, and there's no denying that, TMK. You said peace to the Slater Show. You said, and why is binary and women's business? Real men stay out of women's business. I don't get it. Facts. And he's not even embarrassed. That's the sad part about it. But yeah, he'll have his day. You said the Slater Show. Good to see you, bro. You said that part, Black Butterfly, and hey, the Slater Show. You said we have to stop allowing these men to pull us into fuck shit. And that's facts. That's facts. That's why, I've taken the advice of Keeper, and I have blocked certain people. I no longer have I blocked binary. I blocked Scarlet. I blocked Jake Equality. I think I blocked him a while ago. I ended up blocking Triggs. I blocked him yesterday because I could see he was trying to get my attention so bad, and I'm not interested. I don't care what you think, for real. So I blocked you. So y'all can talk and banter with each other all about me, and I'm never going to see it. I don't care what y'all think. I really don't care. It does not matter. It's not affecting me. It's not changing anything I do, and it's irrelevant. That's just that. And they love to be victims around here. You said, absolutely. You said, how the hell are they using black as a, you said, what? Who does that? That's some fuck shit there, and that's facts. You said, hey, Josephine, Dr. Nikki, and Stephanie. You said, hey to the Slater Show. You said, salute Corey, Alan, and hey, Uncle Al, how we doing? Al, when you going live again? We always look forward to the DBA chat. He said, Mia Mines was mad because people kept going to Corey's lives. She wanted everyone to side with her against him. Exactly. And when people weren't doing that, now they attacking the people in the chat room. Like, that's just fucking ridiculous. Now you over here doxing people's children. You're doxing their kids, or who you're saying are their kids, or who you're saying are their parents, or who you're saying are somebody's family members, just because you can't stand that they go to somebody else's chat room. What kind of 5-year-olds are these motherfuckers? That's why I said that fucking shit don't impress me. That fucking I'm a gangster, I'm a legend motherfucking shit does not fucking impress me, because you don't do legendary shit. You don't move like the gangsters I know. You don't move like the niggas I know. You move like a 10-year-old. A 10-year-old, that's an insult to a 10-year-old for real. You said, I don't see how one can claim intellectual and moral superiority and yet refuse to address the actual issue in question, and instead launch deeply personal, way out of pocket attacks. Facts. It happens all the time with them. You said, it's funny how people have selective memories of who actually support or have supported them. Just amazing. Facts. You said that part, Stephanie Collins. You said, I'm going to be right. You said, I'm going to be all right when I get you on retainer, Steph. Looks like me and mine's going to have me locked up. Oh, boy. They apparently I'm getting locked up, put out, all kinds of shit. Even though I own my shit. You said that part, Keeper. You said, Keeper, okay. You said, I sit back and really pay attention. You can really see who's who that way. And that's facts. That's facts. They claim, they swear you can't. They swear you're just manipulated into not being able to see people for who they really are. You said, I think it's men don't get involved because you said, I think us men don't get involved because we see the game. You go up there and it will be a circular argument, a series I've overtalked, logical fallacies, philosophical paradoxes, and open-ended facts. Facts. And we don't want to do it either, you know? We just don't want to do it anymore. You said Steph being intellectual just gives more fodder for heightened sociopathic behavior. Exactly. You said conundrums. You said that game is the whole joke. It's the fun, if you will. You said excellent assessment defrauding. Yep. You said, Uncle Al, I'm not a real lawyer. See, I'm a non-lawyer who dresses like a lawyer, who dresses like a man, but I'm really a woman who operates out of Miami with the sole purpose of causing chaos. That's it, Steph. He said, Stargate goes on other panels to get pity from other shows and to show she's right all the time. Motherfucking facts. He said, Steph, LOL. You said, and I didn't know any of this about myself until I saw it on YouTube. Girl, I didn't know either. I didn't know I had lost my house, several of them. I had lost vehicle. I had lost all kinds of, I didn't know either until I got on YouTube. Girl, let me check. I got to check my credit more often. You said, you are diabolical, Stephanie Collins. You said, LOL, Steph. You said, I'm going to go live tomorrow, Miss T. Pre. Okay, I'll make sure I'm over there. You said, Stephanie. You said they do the same in the conscious community. We're not special. Right. He said, Miami is so random. I've been there twice. So listen, guys, I've been on here for about an hour and a half. I think we've covered everything that I really did want to cover. I think I was able to answer YM's question that she asked. I think that I was able to cover all the other stuff that happened. And yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with that. But again, I am not going to, and I think everybody has the same idea. We're just not going to keep going back and forth with this chick. And if you want to keep entertaining it, then entertain it, go ahead. But nobody else has to entertain that. And y'all definitely need to understand, like I said, some of the newer people like Quiet Storm and others who have these opinions, even though you've never been any other space. Hey, if you're welcome and entitled to any opinion you wish, but you cannot expect people to entertain your opinions. Okay, you can't expect people to answer your questions to these opinions as if your opinion is fact. And that's just that. Again, you're entitled to what you want. If you want to remain, uninformed about things and just have one side of a story, that's your choice. You're entitled to that. But we are also entitled to our peace of mind. And we don't have to answer these nonsensical questions. We don't have to pretend with you that this opinion that you have is fact. And that now we have to answer these questions based off an opinion that's not true. And that's just that. So you don't understand that, you just don't. And oh, the fuck well. All right, y'all. Well, listen, I will talk to you guys later. I truly appreciate y'all being in the building today. Alan Keeper, African Lemonade, Black Butterfly, Stephanie Collins, Dr. Nikki, and everybody else that came in defrauding. Karma 52, Dr. Bombay, and everyone else that's listening in the clouds, the Slater Show, Glorion, and everyone else that's listening in the clouds as well. I always appreciate y'all. All right, and I will talk to you guys later. You said, according to a crazy woman, Alan's whole family is made up of criminals. Ciao. According to them, you said, does Stargate work or have something going on in her life? So she is a massage therapist. But I think during this time of the year, her business slows down. So she gets on here more often during the colder months. So yeah, that's just that. But she does have a profession, but I don't think she works all year. Or at least it's not at least business slows down at a certain time of the year. You said, I don't know anything about the other girl. other than what's been said on these YouTube streets, out the horse's mouth, black butterfly. And there's been a lot said. Um, you said she works Black Butterfly 6. I believe she's a massage therapist. You said, peace, everyone. XO, enjoy the live. Okay, I enjoyed you guys too. All right, guys, I am out of here. Peace, everybody. And I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for coming in.